Don't forget, it ain't the first 48 with 60 minutes.
Cover the king, you best not miss. Even the score now, we need to score now. Back on that wall, when you hear that call, you know it's going down. We play from beginning to ending, you know how we finish. Turn to the bank, gotta handle our business. We need the ball, so it's time to go get it. Play with your heart when you hit, make me call you in. You know I'm with. You come to the bank and get out of line, be sending a blitz. Said who you with? You know I'm with. That purple and black, and when we attack, you know what it is.
You're now locked in Zone 32.
And there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Zone 32 podcast, episode 172. We have a trio tonight. My name is Jake. His name is Drew. His name is Will. Say what's up to people.
What's up?
Shut the fuck up. We got a win to recap because AFC North is officially a two-team race, and the Bengals are deader than Tony Soprano. The Ravens beat the Bengals 24-0, officially ending their season by the defense pitching its first shutout since the Titans game in Week 18. Defense sacked Joe Burrow 3 times, picked him off twice, and returned the second pick for a touchdown. So, Drew, I'm starting with you. How well does bullying work?
Pretty well. I mean, even over the course of the game, I had 3 takes that I just got shoved right back in my face for, being wrong. I was like, I'm sick of Gilman. He sucks. And then all of a sudden he played the game of his life. I at one point said, like, get Kyle Van Noy off the field. And then he has the pick 6. I forget what the third thing I said. Oh, the Rasheen Ali. I was, bitching about running a third down screen to Ali. And then he takes one of those on a third down. So, it was a good game overall. You had a couple Zay drops that were bad. One of them turned into a pick, and one of them was because he was he's a midget, and it was in the corner of the end zone. He couldn't reach it. Not great.
Still hit his hands.
Yeah, still hit his hands, but again, like he's 5'3". Like this is what happens when you throw up balls up top to the midget, and everybody is or a lot of people were shitting on Lamar for that throw. Like that's not a bad throw. That's just
no, it was a good throw. It's exactly where it had to be.
Yeah, again, like it wasn't a perfect showing by any stretch of the imagination, but it was exactly what we needed. The defense came out, did their job. The offense did well. They didn't run a lot of plays either, which was kind of weird. They barely had the ball in the fourth quarter. Bengals had a couple long drives that ate up a lot of clock. I think the Ravens lost like 40-20 in the time of possession battle. And, the Bengals had a couple drives that they were, they chewed up a bunch of clock, but they just couldn't get anything out of them. So, hats off to Zach Orr. I think I specifically said on the podcast last week, I don't think that he had it in him to come out in a spot like that and, call a good game, but he absolutely called a good game. So, not a lot to complain about this week. Daniel Flaley still sucks. Whatever, he's still here. Whatever, Voorhees is terrible. We can do that, the same song and dance to death, but the reality is like we won an important game, and now everything's in our hands. So I like it. I'm happy with the game. I'm kind of bought back in on who the fuck is Jetty P? Wait, what is this? What do you mean? What is this? It's in the fucking. How do you click on a channel and not know what it is? What are we doing? This is why I don't read the comments during the show, because there's some shit that like, what is this? What the fuck do you think it is, lady? God damn. We're celebrating a Ravens win. I don't know. It's weird coming on here and not having something that I'm like rip shit mad about. Like there was really nothing in that game to be angry or upset about. There's a couple, annoying things that are gonna linger with this team, but reality is like I'm fully bought back in on the Ravens, doing some damage in the playoffs, making some noise.
Yeah, agreed. First of all, I would like to send thoughts and prayers to Grant. He got a flat tire in the summer of 2015, and he's just getting around to repairing it tonight at 9 p.m. So that was unfortunate timing on that.
F to pay respects.
Yeah, that was unfortunate timing.
Also, Grant specifically looked me dead in the face last week when I said, You know, if we win, you have to come on and you have to pick against the Ravens every week for the rest of the season. He goes, yeah, I'm here. And then, where is he? Complained last week that we start too late. So we started, 45 minutes early to, accommodate his schedule and then just nowhere to be fucking found. So,
yeah,
classic Grant.
Classic. Yeah, I mean, I thought the offense uninspiring to start, but they found their groove. It looked okay to me. Lamar, I think, looked as much like himself as he has in a long time. So he was willing to run the ball when he had the opportunity. He didn't. He didn't. I think there were times where he maybe had a little bit more he could get, but I'm okay with him getting what we need and then being safe about it. The defense, you can't say a bad thing about the defense. Like you said, Zach Orr called a perfect game in terms of what needed to be done. Special teams looked pretty good. So it was just like a three-phase game that was executed well. That's really how you win in the playoffs. They ran the ball well, and like Derrick Henry had 10 carries the first game against Cincinnati, and everyone complained. And this time he had, and rightfully so. This time he had 11, but I think he only had 11 this time because, like you said, we didn't run a whole lot of offensive plays. We were just really efficient.
41
plays. Yes,
and,
to 73 for the Bengals.
And what did they run with Huntley under center? Did they run 4 plays? I don't remember. So, I mean, you got to take those out because that game was out of hand at that point. Like, it was just.
No, I think he only came in for one. I think he only had one snap. I think he just knelt the ball.
He
handed the ball off after the 2-minute warning.
But okay. I think he ran. I thought we ran 2 plays for the 2-minute warning, but I could be wrong.
Well,
regardless,
no, you're right.
Whatever it was, yeah. I mean, I think Derrick Henry carried the ball an appropriate amount for. Like I said, we were very efficient moving the ball outside of like the first 2 possessions. The turnover was bullshit because Zay bobbled the ball and it turned into an interception. So like, again, like I feel like there should always, this is one of these things every year we're going to talk about this, but there should be a different stat category for turnovers that aren't the quarterback's fault. Like Lamar Jackson over the past 2 seasons has had like 9 interceptions total maybe. And I think 6 or 7 of them have hit off his receiver's hands and count as drops that turned into picks. So like, I just feel like it's unfair to penalize the quarterback for those, but that's a whole other conversation. But they were really efficient. Derrick Henry was super. I mean, I think he averaged 9 yards a carry or something like that. Keaton averaged like 11 yards a carry. I think Lamar averaged 9 yards a carry. So like running the ball in general, super effective, which we've all been saying is what we should be doing. And then when you're running the ball that effectively, then it opens up the pass game. He had 136 yards passing in the first half, which I think is like the most he's ever had in one half of any game ever, or in the first half of any game ever. So that's just kind of a blueprint for how I don't even what I said 6-7. Did I say that?
Can you now that Zamboni's back, what the fuck does that even mean?
Nobody knows what it means.
Like, where is it from? Like, why do I see it fucking
dumbass
everywhere?
Children talk about it. But the big thing is this. If we play the game like we played on Sunday, where we run the ball, we set up the pass, we play good defense, even when we're put in kind of bad spots, and we play special teams at a level where it's just doing what it's supposed to do. It doesn't need to be great, just can't be bad. Those 3 things happen, we're going to win games against good teams. This isn't a good team that we beat, but we beat the shit out of them. They have what a lot of people consider to be a top 3 to 5 quarterback in the league. And he looked like ass. They have probably the best wide receiver in the league, if not number 2.
Brilliant game plan on Chase, by the way. Accepting that Jamar Chase is going to get 8 to 10 catches and 100 yards, but that you're limiting him from the big play is exactly what you have to do with him. You have to.
So long as you don't let him get 203 touchdowns, it's okay.
Right.
And he didn't even get in the end zone.
I mean,
nobody did.
He's that good, that he's gonna get his yards and he's gonna get his catches, and as long as you can limit them and stop the big plays, like, it's fine. It's not gonna kill you. It's the same, from a basketball standpoint, it's the same thing that people used to do to Kobe back in the day. That Kobe's gonna score 40, but Just don't let anybody else beat you, and you're fine.
When you talk about bend not break, that's what it should mean. Like
Right.
You got a guy on the other side of the field that can really hurt you. So it doesn't really matter if his box score looks good and he has 11 catches for 120 yards, as long as he doesn't have, like you said, a catch for 40 yards and a touchdown or 80 yards and a touchdown like he's done to us in the past. So like just limiting his damage to chunks and not letting it turn into big plays. He almost broke one for a big play, but again, like almost doesn't really fucking matter. It's bend not break. So the defense in general played really, really well. And like you said, the game plan to just limit the damage that Chase can do was exactly what we needed. I mean, going into next week against the Patriots, they don't really have a guy. I mean, like Diggs can I don't think he can take over.
He's not that guy anymore.
No, he can't take over a game anymore. He can be dangerous, but like at the same time, as a whole, they don't have the same like quarterback wide receiver combination that strikes fear into people. They're a better team overall, obviously, but I just think
a better offensive play caller too.
I don't. Okay, so again, I mean, this is probably me being somewhat jaded and somewhat like I'm getting like PTSD flashbacks to the Dynasty Patriots. They're not that good of a team. They really haven't played anybody. They're missing a lot of key pieces on defense, and the Bills put out the playbook there for offense. Is that if the Bills didn't give up a couple of huge runs, like that's a totally different ball game. If you hit Drake May and you play physical with their wide receivers, they really don't have a guy that's going to get open. I mean, this is not prime Stephon Diggs. This is, old ACL Stephon Diggs. Matt Collins is a fucking freak that doesn't wear shoes and doesn't wear a shirt to walk in. Hunter Henry is fine. That Pop Douglas is a fucking midget. Like, you just beat the shit out of him off the line. He's not going to be able to get open. Keyshawn Boutte lost like $485,000 while he was in college on FanDuel. So clearly he's a fucking moron, and you could probably take him out of the game pretty easily. Like, they really don't scare me. It's if you don't let Drake May have time in the pocket and let him scramble around, they're in trouble. And, that's kind of how Josh McDaniels has always worked. He's been like a timing offense. And, if you get him out of his groove, like, they panic and they call dumb plays. So
yeah, and the biggest difference this week, I think everybody will agree, Tavius Robinson is creating pressure and creating opportunities for everybody else to rush the quarterback, to create, and the secondary, our secondary is built to create turnovers, to cover to a certain point. But like, we've had such little pressure on the quarterback that even in situations where you're getting those, like Drew hates the stat, but pressures on the quarterback do matter when you're rushing the quarterback to actually get rid of the ball. But our pressures weren't even really resulting in any semblance of actual like pressure on the quarterback to get rid of the ball. So like
Tavius Robinson was getting pressures this week, he was in Joe Burrow's face and he was affecting the throw. So even if he wasn't, completing the sack or Burrow was getting the ball away before he actually hit him, like he was causing some kind of disruption. What I hate about just pressures as a blanket stat is that like, if you don't affect the throw, but you're close enough to the quarterback, you're going to get credited with a pressure.
That's what I mean. But yeah,
it had no effect on the play. We had, Travis Jones hit Joe Burrow a couple times. Tavius Robinson did. Like, we had guys that were in Burrow's face, making him get rid of the ball sooner than he actually wanted to.
I just think that Tavius Robinson, him being back, created a lot of the opportunities for everybody else. Like that guy was kind of the missing piece up front.
And it's crazy because I tweeted, I was like, when he got activated from IR, I was like, here comes Tavius Robinson to save our pass rush core. Right. And people laughed at me and were like, oh, you're an idiot, Homer Drew, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, suck my dick. I'm right again, millionth time. Like, people should just start fucking listening to me. But I mean, that's exactly the kind of guy that we needed. Was
the second and third level of the defense is built for a pass rush to be disruptive, not necessarily create like not be like leading the league in sacks or anything like that, but to be disruptive enough to give the second and third levels the opportunity to make plays. Because like Kyle Hamilton is playing on the second level a lot of the time. He's not really playing, a center field position. And now with Ardarius Washington out there too, we have 4 safeties on the field a lot of the time, and they're 4 safeties who can move around and make plays. So like, just being able to put pressure on the quarterback is creating opportunities the way the defense was designed in the first place. I think like what we're learning here is lacking Ardarius, lacking Tavius Robinson. or somebody who can create some pressure up front and create opportunities for the other guys up front to get to the quarterback or to affect the play. That's really what was making the secondary look as bad as it looked. I don't think the secondary from a personnel standpoint is not a bad secondary. It was just the scheme was affected so significantly by, first of all, by Matabike's absence. That was the first domino to fall there. But then when Tavius Robinson went out, it kind of just sucked the life out of the pass rush. So
Tavius Robinson is the one guy on your defensive line that he's just going to go after the quarterback. He doesn't, for whatever, Kyle Van Noy does that stupid thing where he slows up and waves his arms around and tries to affect passing lanes. David Ajabo has been a fucking ghost. Mike Green, we have him doing stupid shit setting the edge instead of letting him go after the quarterback. And it just seems like consistently Tavius Robinson, when he's in, is trying his fucking balls off every play to hit the quarterback. And that's what we've been lacking on defenses. We do not have a guy that just pins his ears back and goes after the quarterback.
One complaint I would have about the defense last game was I saw Kyle Van Noy on the field too many times when I thought Mike Green should have been on the field. Yeah. Now, Van Noy ended up making a play, but it was just kind of being in the right place at the right time. But the ball just kind of fluttered into his hands. It's not like he did anything special or out of the ordinary. And in fact, he dropped into sort of like almost like a QB spy. I think he was there in case Burrow tried to run the ball up the middle, not to look to pick off a ball, but the ball just kind of just floated to him. But Mike Green should be on the field more. That's all. I mean, that's really to me, with Tavius Robinson being so disruptive, it's going to create opportunities for Mike Green, where Mike Green's a speed rusher, a power rusher. So anytime you have a guy they have to account for and Mike Green could get one-on-ones, you got to have him on the field. He wins one-on-ones.
Right. And Zamboni just commented he's afraid that Mike Green is going to be used like OA, which is a valid fear. If you're going to run the kind of defense that Zach Orr wants to run, just let them go after the quarterback. Enough of the, fucking around and trying to be creative and dropping them into coverage and having them set the edge. Just let them go after the quarterback. Let guys do what they're good at. And, don't just oversimplify things with your defensive line. It's very clear that our defensive strategy works if you're getting consistent pressure on the quarterback. So do everything possible to get consistent pressure, and the back end will fall into place.
I did see Ojabo set the edge quite a few times. So you want to bring someone in to do that? He
actually got a pressure on Sunday.
He looked really good setting the edge to me. So not that he has to be on the field all the time, but he was. Anytime he was within arm's reach of the ball carrier, he was putting a hand on him and he was slowing him down. And one time I saw him reach out and just grab him with one hand and stop the play altogether. So I would like to see him in those situations more frequently.
The weird thing with Ajabo, watching him in college and then seeing he's clearly lost a step with all the leg injuries that he's had, the Achilles and the knee and whatever. And so he's not that explosive pass rusher anymore. He just never recovered from the injury, whatever. He's never going to figure it out. I don't fucking know. But use him to his strengths. You use him like you use Brent Urban, where, it's a guy that's going to set the edge for you and do the dirty work and, take a blocker away and let somebody like Tavius Robinson get free. And again, it's the same way you should use Van Noy, is that Van Noy is clearly old and can't get to the quarterback anymore. But, you put him out there and you have him do the little QB spy shit, or I don't know, delayed blitz off the edge, whatever you're going to fucking do with him. Just use guys at what they're good at. Don't try to force them into a role that they're not going to succeed.
That's where I want to see Mike Green on the field more than I see Van Noy. Van Noy's not winning one-on-ones. Mike Green will win one-on-ones most of the time.
It's the same way with our offense of, we use Zay like we should be using Hopkins sometimes.
Yes.
Hopkins should have been that guy catching that ball in the corner of the end zone there.
He made that on his tippy toes. And Zay was at his highest fucking vertical, and it bounced off his hands. So I just don't understand the logic behind Zay getting that ball in the back corner of the end zone.
You throw red zone targets to a midget, that's what's going to happen.
Right.
Zay is what he is. There's a huge debate online right now how much you're going to pay Zay Flowers, which I think is fucking stupid on a lot of levels. But my biggest issue with Zay is that he's not a contested catch guy. He's not a deep ball guy because he's small.
No, you got to get him into some space. Now, if you give him a little bit of space, he can find a seam and go. But if you're going to use him in the red zone, you have to run like a rub for him where he's going to like come underneath the play and you're going to hit him across the goal line. You can't send him to the back of the end zone. You're not going to get the ball. There's just not the window's not going to be there for him.
You're also putting Lamar in an impossible spot there because you're asking him to make a throw. When you're making a throw in the end zone like that, you're throwing to a spot. You're not, really throwing to a wide receiver. And so in order for him to put that ball in the back corner of the end zone, like he's going to have to put some air under. He's going to have to get it over the linemen and the safeties that are in there. And, like the whole point is that you drop it into the bucket to a taller wide receiver back there.
Right.
But, like, Zay's not that guy. And,
no, and
you're get his hands on the ball, should catch it fine.
Yeah.
What was that?
You're asking him to do that with no protection. So it's got to be – the ball's got to come out way early too. So, like, he's got – like you said, he's got to throw it to a spot. It's got to be high because he doesn't have the time to move around. He doesn't have the time to see if Zay is going to run that thing deeper. He's going to run along the back line or not. So, yeah, I mean, like, I just don't know why you don't have either like Isaiah Likely or Hopkins running that back line
there. Yeah, I mean, it's
or Ted Walker because I mean he's another tall guy. I think he's like 6'3", isn't he?
Yeah, he's 6'2", 6'3", something like
6'2".
He's big. He's big enough that's a play that he makes. But yeah, and it's that has been my biggest gripe with Todd so far this year is that he keeps, he calls the right play, but he puts like the wrong guy in the spot. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's dialing up plays to deep balls to Bateman, who quits on every deep route and doesn't read the ball well. And then he's, not using Zay properly. And I don't think you should just spam screens with Zay. Like, I think you can do some more intermediate shit with him. Especially this week over the middle of the field, the Patriots are fucking awful. And like, so that's a Zay spot, a lot of like crossers and, slant routes and things that he can get some yak on. I don't know. I just, That is the one thing that bothers me with Todd is I feel like he does not play to the player's strengths. But maybe that'll come with time, and maybe this is the week that we put it all together. I don't know. Again, it's hard to complain about a 24-0 win. Like,
yeah, we're trending. We're certainly trending in the direction we want to be at the right time, and like I mean, I don't know if Jake wants to like segue us into the Patriots here, but like. The Patriots had won 10 straight games, I believe, right? So they just lost. They lost a game that they were winning by 21 points to Buffalo, who's now up their ass. Like, Buffalo has a great shot at taking that division at this point. So the Patriots were, I mean, I think most people thought they were just going to run away to the 1 seed, and now they're looking down. They're staring down the barrel of being a wild card team, not having any home games, maybe having to go back to Buffalo and play them a third time at some point. Like, these are all things that with a young team, I mean, obviously he's an experienced head coach, but he's a first-year head coach in New England. It's potentially something where they peaked way too early, and now like the bottom's going to fall out because, like you said, they're missing some guys. They're young. They're not a complete roster. They're ahead of schedule. All those things, like they kind of remind me of the Commanders last year. So like
that's a great.
There's no shame in that. Like I didn't think they were going to be a winning team. I thought they were going to win like 7 games. So like they're way ahead of schedule, but I don't think they're a great team. I don't think they are what their record says they are. And I think they're very beatable in this moment coming out of this loss. And the Ravens are on the other side of it on the upswing and know they need to win all these games, especially this game and especially the Steelers game in week 18. Like if there's a game to lose, it would be the Packers game. Obviously that shouldn't be the mentality, but like winning these 2 AFC games that we have left would basically ensure that we go to the playoffs and win the AFC North. So they're very motivated. It's a home game. They're 3-5 at home this year. So that's another thing I think, like from a pride perspective, we're going into this and there's no way that they can feel good about the fact that they are going to have a losing record at home. So yeah, I mean, like, I think things are setting up and it's another primetime game. So they have an opportunity to sort of like right some wrongs. They've looked really bad in primetime this year. So yeah, I mean, like, I think the timing of it definitely is in our favor. I just hope it doesn't blow up in our face and we go back to looking like the fucking team on Thanksgiving. That's all.
I mean, how many times have we come on here and been like, where is this team's pride? Where are their balls? Why won't they fucking fight back? You've now cornered them. Their back's against the wall. It's do or die every fucking week. And they showed up. And, so just keep that trend going. Everybody's got a short memory in the NFL. It's what have you done for me lately league? And lately the Ravens showed up to a division rival that embarrassed you on national television 2 weeks ago and stomped the shit out of them and ended their season at home. So let's, do that again. Patriots were the media darling for a while. Everybody was hyping them up. I had, idiot Patriots fans tweeting me like, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year and oh, we're back and, fucking, your worst nightmares here. And it's like, now you've shown, chinks in the armor, and it's time for the Ravens to just jump all over that.
Somehow we got a racial slur off in this episode.
What did I say?
Oh,
chinks in the armor. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, I was not talking about Chinese people, asshole.
No,
I
was
had
not.
to think. I was like, what did I say? That was, off color.
Well, that technically categorizes as a cracker or a crack in the armor or whatever. But I understood what you were saying.
Yeah. So we have an opportunity here. We ended the Bengals season. They're out of the playoffs. Like they have no hope now. Next week, if we beat the Patriots, I think we basically end their hope at the 1 seed, and we could basically put them in a position where they're not going to win the division. So we kind of fuck their season. The next week, we could contribute to the Packers completely losing their grasp on the 1 seed. And then in week 18, we can end the Steelers season. So like that's a nice path for the Ravens going into the playoffs to like just be able to be these bullies who fuck people's year up. And I like that. I like being in that position.
Yeah, I mean, it's our division to lose, but these are all winnable games coming up. Again, the Patriots, like I said, they're young. They've played way above where they're supposed to. They've shown cracks in the armor now. Is that a better, is that a more acceptable terminology to say? But
good enough.
They've shown that they're beatable. They've shown that they did play kind of a fraud schedule. They've won who they were supposed to be. They beat teams they were supposed to beat, but again, like you don't really expect them to be that good. Again, the Packers have lost Tucker Kraft and now Micah Parsons. Like those are two big parts of their team. They're a lot more beatable than they probably felt like they were earlier in the year. And then, Steelers is the Steelers. Like, that's going to be a tough divisional game. Mike Tomlin, outcoaches Harbaugh almost every time. Lamar seems to like to turn the ball over against the Steelers. Like this is the week to, the Steelers week is the week to not do that shit. Right. And just take care of business. But
keep building on what we did this week. That's really like the mentality. Just build on it. They don't have to win 24-0 every week, but like build on the consistency. Play consistent football.
Every week John gets in front of the mic and goes, next week's our week, and that week finally came. So now build on it. Like you said, like you finally did what you say to the camera every fucking week, John. So make sure everybody knows that they did a good job and they need to do that again.
Yeah, and like this is where I think the criticism all year has been it's a very poorly coached team because it's been very undisciplined and inconsistent and falling flat. So now is the opportunity for John Harbaugh to shut people up. And I mean, you can't undo what has been done, but we came out and we beat the Bengals, who embarrassed us on Thanksgiving in a pretty embarrassing way and ended their season. Okay, now if you can get the team to keep on moving forward on that and come out every week, like I said, and be consistent and play, the one mistake they made, I don't like it. That was a one player making a mistake. That wasn't that you can't really blame that on coaching or on anyone but Zay for being, just butterfingers there. So like
credit to the Ravens, they shook it off. Typically when we have stupid shit like that go against us, we then compound mistakes and fall apart. And they did not fall apart. They stood tall and
play calling gets really stupid. Yeah. So like they don't just fall apart in execution, they fall apart in play calling and everything else. So like, so if they can put it together down the stretch, then you got to give credit to the coaching staff for keeping them focused and to getting them on track and just moving towards the goal, which is like when you have a year like this, obviously it's a challenge, I think, from a leadership perspective to get guys to kind of have a short memory and forget that things have gone really poorly and to say, all right, we still have an opportunity, and to again just like take it week by week and build on the good things they do from 1 week to the next. And that, again, like that's going to be a credit to the coaching and a credit to the guys for taking the coaching. So like it's going to be a full team effort, but I will give John Harbaugh credit if he can make this happen.
All year he has, kind of pushed the relax and we'll come together and figure it out narrative. And we've killed him for it because they have not come together and have not put it together. But they finally did it. They finally, backed up the words that he said all year. So I would say just keep pushing the same messages you've been pushing because it obviously worked this week.
Yeah, eventually people bought into it,
Maybe we are the end of the bar morons. You know what I mean? Maybe we're drunk idiots and we've been wrong about this team the whole time, and that it was just there's been a lot of injuries and things that they just weren't equipped to overcome quickly, but they've overcome it at the right time, and that this is the Ravens they envisioned to be all year. I don't know, and we very well could be wrong and very well could be dumb. So just keep proving us wrong. Just go out there and do what you are supposed to do. Do your jobs, execute, hold on to the ball, run the ball, just normal football shit that we say every week, get pressure on the quarterback. Just fucking do it. They did it last week, so do it again. You win 2 in a row, it's called a win streak, whatever the fucking, Lou Brown speech from Major League is. Win streaks and all that shit. Jake and I were cosplaying as movie critics, so that popped into my mind beforehand. So Will got very offended at some of our TV takes. But
these fucking guys just kept talking about fucking TV shows. I thought they were going to stop, and they just kept going. It was crazy. It was like fucking 15 minutes of them just fucking sucking each other's dick about talking about TV shows.
No, it was more like 5. It was like 5 minutes.
Jake and I function on an intellectual level that can't be understood by people sometimes. It's fine. I
thought it was just going to be a quick 1-minute conversation, so I let it go, and then it just kept going.
I mean, to be fair, we were buying time, thinking that Grant would show up and fulfill
exactly.
Obviously, that we
what's the definition of insanity again?
It's repeating the same thing. Well, I don't know, but again, last week I got on and you and I were literally talking shit about Grant not showing up, and then all of a sudden his face just fucking popped up.
Dumbass face showed up, yeah.
So I mean, I thought that maybe bringing him up that he'd show up, but who knows? Like you said, he popped a tire in 2015. He's probably fixing that. I feel like he's probably got to get his oil changed in his car too.
Most likely.
Maybe
before we get into score predictions and all that jazz, we have a signing to recap or an agreement because Will, I'm gonna come to you.
Okay.
Once you come back from the bathroom.
I'm here.
Last Thursday morning, it was announced the Ravens and Travis Jones have reached an agreement about a 3-year, $40.5 million deal, keeping him from hitting the restricted free agency market and also arbitration because there was an argument about whether he's an unrestricted or restricted free agent, and they were going to go to arbitration over that. So the details are he's going to get $16 million at signing, another $9 million in March, and the life of the contract is $31.5 million practically guaranteed. So, Will, 2 things. First, thoughts on the deal. Second, thoughts on the player, Travis Jones, for stepping up with Matt Abike down.
Yeah, I think when I saw the notification hit, I first just read like, okay, extension for Travis Jones. I was like, all right, cool. I assumed it was going to be really expensive. I thought like in the offseason when that was being discussed, they were talking about like $75 or $80 million was going to be the floor on that. So when I saw that was $39.5 million was the total on it, I was like, this got to be a fucking typo.
Well, again, this is EDC's bread and butter. People talk about Leach. The thing that EDC does better than any other GM in the NFL is that if he has leverage over a player, he absolutely leans on them and gets them to break and take a contract. He did it to Rashad Bateman. He's now done it to Travis Jones. I'm sure he's done it a million other times that we're not even thinking of right now. But
we got Derrick Henry. We signed Derrick Henry to that first contract for basically pennies on the dollar when the running back market was kind of in a weird position.
Yeah, so like Swift and Saquon got crazy contracts, and then we got Derrick Henry for a bargain, and we got DeAndre Hopkins for $6 million. Hopkins said this week that other teams offered him more money, but he got him to come here. Like, he is very good at getting a bargain when the opportunity presents itself. He does not pass up a deal like that.
Yeah.
And, he definitely knows how to get that shit done, because I'm sure what he did is he went to Travis Jones and was like, look, we're going to tag you. We're going to give you a second round tender, which is, I think it was like $8 million, something like that. Or you could take this contract that's going to pay you a hell of a lot more than $8 million up front. And if you're Travis Jones, it's not like you totally underpaid him. Like, you got him for a bit below market value, but not, nothing like we didn't totally lowball him. So he's not going to be mad at it. He's not going to have any kind of hard feelings about that. And, you then are allowed to structure it in a way that helps the team long term. So, again, hats off, great move.
He has a contract in place at the right time where, okay, I think it's pretty widely known, right, that Madubuike is not coming back. So he is going to be the centerpiece of that defensive line. And he has an opportunity to outplay this contract very quickly and earn himself a big money contract while he's still very young. So, this is kind of like a dip your toe in the water deal where he gets a good amount of money on the front end of it. And obviously, if he outperforms it, we're just going to give him Madubuike's money that we already committed. So, it's not, we're just kind of shifting money around to make sure that Jones can handle that workload. But, I think we've seen over the past 3 games or so, he's really stepped up. He's shutting down the run in the middle of the field. He's getting to the quarterback. He's creating opportunities. I think Tavius Robinson benefited from him. I said people benefiting from Tavius Robinson. The edge rushers were benefiting from Tavius, but I think Tavius is coming up the middle a lot of the time. So, I just think Travis Jones is one of these guys that is going to – I think Grant has put it well in the past, the best defenses, and I think, even when you think back on the Ravens, the way the best Ravens defenses were built was the spine of the defense is really where the strength of it is. So, Madubuike was supposed to be that guy up front, and then Roquan behind him, and then Kyle Hamilton in the secondary. But so we needed to come up with a plan for how we were going to replace Madubuike, and obviously Travis Jones is that guy. We don't want to go. Otherwise, we would have traded for a Quinnen Williams or someone like that, and then we would have been kind of in a bad spot, I think, in free agency if we were going to let Travis Jones get to free agency in the offseason, or like you said, tag him. So, I think it was a smart deal. I think it's kind of, again, it's a deal that sets up Travis Jones to really get paid in another 2 years down the line. But I think very smart. EDC does, like you said, is really good at structuring these deals well and getting them done at the right time. So there's no complaints about it. There can't be.
The knock on EDC from the loudmouth idiot contingent of our fan base is that he does not invest in the trenches. But yet again, he is here investing in the trenches. So, nobody can complain about that. If you didn't extend Travis Jones, if you didn't keep him here next year at least, you were going to be stuck in this weird spot of you have to draft a guard early and you have to draft defensive linemen early. And you're going to run out of premium picks and guys still on the board to draft at that point.
Right.
You can't go into the draft needing, an interior defensive lineman and an interior offensive lineman.
I don't think we're going to draft a guard. I don't know. We don't want to go down this road right now. I think we're going to do what we have done in the past, and we're going to get a free agent or make a trade for a guard.
I just don't think that you can do that anymore because that's what we've tried to do, and that's why we have Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Falele starting. So I think you got to – whatever you do in the offseason, you have to really –
I disagree. I think it's the opposite. I think if we had re-signed Zeitler, then we wouldn't have at least one of those guys starting right now. So,
I hate the Zeitler narrative. I mean, I can go off on this route. The guy thought he was going to retire and told the Ravens that he couldn't play 17 games anymore. He said that he physically wasn't able to guarantee. And so it's you can play this revisionist history. And, yeah, he went to the Lions and he went to the Titans and he's played since then. But, in the moment, you thought that Kevin Zeitler was done and that you needed to move on from him and get somebody, to fill those shoes. Fine. Falele was not the guy to do that. Whatever.
I wish that we had re-signed Zeitler and gotten 12 or 13 games from him and then had to deal with Falele or Voorhees or both as plug and plays in that event. But I think it's more likely that because of what we're seeing with Falele and with Voorhees that we see Emory Jones kind of emerge into a starting role, and then we go sign a free agent or make a trade for a veteran who we can rely on for 2 or 3 years on the other side. That's, I think, is the more likely route, personally.
And have him be a mentor for Rosengard and
right.
Some more.
Whatever we do, you cannot go into next year with those two guys starting.
No,
reality is you should not have either of them playing right now. We are where we are, and John is who he is, and he's not going to move off of that. And I hope that they can continue to overcome just the absolute worst guard play in the NFL. It remains to be seen if they can do that. But that's like, that's where we're at now. We're like you said, we're where we are. Win the fucking games, and then we'll figure out guard in the offseason. But
yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Have you addressed? Fuck you, Naldo.
Travis Jones extension was needed. It was well structured. There's nothing to complain about. And like you said, I mean, the EDC doesn't invest in the trenches narrative is very flawed. We drafted Matabike and extended him. He had a catastrophic injury happen. You don't just have someone waiting to replace a guy like that. And luckily, we have a guy who potentially could kind of fill those shoes to a degree anyway. And we have drafted several pass rushers. Maybe they haven't turned out the way we hoped they had. Still investing in the position. We made a trade for Draymond Jones, who's been very effective, and I think is a great.
He should be the next extension.
Yeah, I think we should extend him. So, I think he has invested. But again, this is the same argument about wide receiver. Like, he invests in wide receiver. It's just the swings don't connect a lot of the time. So you can be a critic of the the outcomes if you want to, but don't say that he wasn't trying to improve those position groups, because he has.
Our fans use terms like wasting the window and things that make it sound like the Ravens are not trying to address these positions of need. And the issue has always been the lack of execution, not a lack of an effort. And that's always kind of what's bothered me when our fans, start going off on these tangents and try to blame people for where we are. It's just intellectually dishonest to say that we don't invest in the trenches. Now, did we pick the right guys for the trenches? Obviously not. But the effort was there. The attempt was there. Things did not work out as planned. And so if you want to criticize the execution, by all means, go for it, because some of it deserves criticism. But the whole idea that EDC is sitting there laughing, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going in the year with Jones or with fucking Falele and Voorhees starting and Lamar's fucked." There's no shot that he did that on purpose.
No.
It's just dumb. You just, if you say those kind of things out loud, you realize how stupid it is. But these people live in an echo chamber and don't fucking think things through before they talk.
Yeah, I also want to say I was doing some research on just looking ahead to next year, and I know I know where we can find $3.25 million with only a very small dead cap hit. And it's at running back. Justice Hill, I never want to see your fucking face on the field again. $3.25 million in reclaimed cap space, $660,000 dead cap. And I think that Rasheen Ali is a perfectly fine third running back / special teams guy. And Keaton Mitchell should be entrenched as the second running back and get a lot more touches than he has this season. That's my.
I would almost argue that Keaton Mitchell, for the way that the line is currently constructed, should be your feature back to start the game off. He's the guy that has that quicker first step and can kind of get around missed blocks from Falele and Voorhees. Then you tire people out, and then you put Henry out there and just let him fucking run through everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry has an open invitation to stay in Baltimore as long as he wants. But yeah, no, I think the Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry two-headed monster should be the move going forward. Ali should be the guy who comes in when somebody needs a breather, and Justice Hill should go work in the lumber department at Home Depot.
Yeah, so I would say that before the year I would have said I wanted to be 80-20 for Henry carries versus Keaton Mitchell carries. I'm now more in the 60-40 range of
I was just going to say 60-40 is a great split between those two, because Keaton Mitchell doesn't need 20 carries to be effective. He needs 10 touches, and you're going to get probably 80-plus yards out of him every game. He's going to break something for 15-plus every single game.
I would say 20 carries should be your bare minimum for Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And 12 to 15 touches for.
Actually, I would even say, I think if you dig into this, 18 is the magic number for Derrick Henry. If you get him 18 touches, he's probably gonna break one for 10 plus, and he's likely gonna average like 88 yards a game or something like that. And that means that he's gonna have a couple games where he's gonna get like 50 or 60 yards, but he's gonna have a couple games where he gets like 130 yards. So like you give him those 18 touches, you're going to get what you need out of him. And Keaton Mitchell, like I said, if you get him 10 to 12 touches, you're going to get some explosive plays out of him. And then Ali can just be the guy who comes on the field when you need somebody out there, because the other two guys are.
When you need a 3rd and 7 picked up, Rasheen Ali screen, that's the way to go.
Right. And he will be on the field for all special teams, and that's the role that he's meant to play. So yeah. Justice Hill, thanks for your service, but you need to move on.
How much do we save by getting rid of Bateman?
Trade Bateman. Somebody trade him to New Orleans or to Miami, or like I think he has.
Should trade him to the Cowboys. They're probably not going to pay Pickens.
Oh, and can we talk about fucking if our retard fans get all fired up every time Jeremy Fowler says
Jeremy Fowler's a fucking idiot. That dude knows nothing.
Right. He is a Steelers beat writer for ESPN. He doesn't know jack shit about the Ravens, but he puts these fucking things out there, and our fans
What did he put out? I don't know. What did he put out?
That we were going to sign Pickens for $40 million a year or something retarded like that.
No shit.
I know, but and again, then our fans are like drooling over, Pickens and Zay and Tez Walker, what a great threesome. And it's like, George Pickens is
thanks.
never...
That dude's got an on-off switch. Just like Randy Moss did, but he's not Randy Moss.
Well, yeah, he's Randy Moss attitude with fucking not Randy Moss skill.
Exactly.
I think
he's Randy Moss attitude with like Hakeem Nick's skill.
You re-sign Hopkins to a 2-year deal. It's basically a 1-year deal, and you just keep doing that until he kind of the wheels fall off on him. He's another guy. It's like he's kind of like, I mean, Derrick Henry still is way more effective than he is, even though I think Hopkins is still a very good player, but. Derrick Henry's like a top 3 or 4 running back in the league, and Hopkins is like basically a very high-end wide receiver too, in my opinion.
If we had used Hopkins correctly all year, he houses that catch that he had.
Oh yeah, totally.
He gets the ball in space, and he's like, "I haven't done this in fucking 2 years. What do I do?" And then he ran.
He's like Ricky Bobby when he's given an interview. What do I do with my hands? Yeah, he's like he was like, "Oh, there's all this space. Well, I don't know what the fuck to do." But yeah, no, I think you don't need to. The Ravens are never going to go sign a fucking free agent wide receiver for $40 million. That's crazy.
All right, can I address this fucking half brain Naldo here? Why would they sign George Pickens? Like, let's be serious here and be adults about this. Like, I understand you all have this weird love affair with George Pickens because we didn't take him in the 2nd round fucking 5 years ago. It's not going to happen. He's going to get too much money. We're not going to sign him. He's just not.
You know who's going to sign him? I'll tell you who's going to sign him. San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, I could see.
Actually, yeah, they probably will.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
There's plenty of other teams that I could see paying George Pickens. We're not one of them. This is not even never a Pickens guy. Well, and then here you are. Drew hates Pickens. What guy have I hated that we've actually signed? Like, what narrative have I pushed that, you guys all do the Calais Campbell shit every year. We haven't gone and gotten him. We haven't gone and gotten fucking, Matt Judon, who you guys were all jerking off to. Like, we don't go get guys that I hate. Because normally I kind of understand where this team's coming from when they're going to make moves and not make moves. I don't
like this. I don't like this whole wide receiver one thing. I don't know that the Ravens offense is like a wide receiver one dependent offense. It never will be. It's never going to be a
32. There are 32 wide receiver ones in the NFL. Zay Flowers is better than 15 of them.
And people mistake wide receiver one with an X receiver. We have an X receiver. His name is DeAndre Hopkins. An X receiver is a guy who can win one-on-ones, who can catch contested balls, who you can rely on a 3rd and long. He does all those things. Now, he's not CeeDee Lamb. He's not fucking Justin Jefferson, but it doesn't matter. The skill set is the same. It's just the usage, like a wide receiver one usage is not like you don't go pay a fucking a guy, a free agent, $40 million.
It saves top 10 in targets, catches, and yards. Like, What the fuck more do you want from the guy?
Right, exactly. But like he doesn't profile like those other guys. So he's not wide receiver one. Like people are again, they're just mistaking the position for like the title. And again, it's like that's not how this offense works. It's a volume offense. Like it just the ball gets spread around. The guy who's going to probably see the most like high value targets. Like I know Zay sees the most targets by volume, but like the most high value targets are going to be tight ends in this offense. It's just that's how it works.
That's how Lamar plays football. I mean, so you build an offense for your quarterback, not for
Madden.
Not for Madden or narratives or fantasy football, whatever fucking retard reason you guys all
Yeah,
want.
exactly. Ravens fans are in love with the idea of how other teams do things. And the fact of the matter is right, but the fact of the matter is name 5 other teams that have a better shot at winning the Super Bowl every single year. You can't. There's just not, that doesn't exist. So like obviously we're doing something right. Now,
and I'll take
you can argue
farther. So the only team that's won a Super Bowl in the last couple of years that has elite wide receivers, was the Eagles. The Chiefs have not had elite wide receivers in a long time. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is throwing to fucking trash, guys who like commit huge vehicular crimes or Hollywood Brown. Like he's not. They don't have top end wide receivers there. And then like who else? The Rams had Cooper Kupp that year, but that was it. They didn't really have any other wide receivers that year. It was just Cooper Kupp. Since they've gotten Nakua, they haven't won. So since they've had this elite wide receiver duo, they haven't won. So I don't know, man. Our fans drive me up a wall because it's this weird fucking hypothetical bullshit that they always fucking pull of like, oh, it'd be so great to have this, Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I'd love to have Justin Jefferson. That would be fucking awesome if I had Justin Jefferson on the Ravens. It's not going to fucking happen. We don't go get wide receivers
also,
like that.
Has a team with Justin Jefferson on it ever even won a playoff game? Because I don't think they have.
No, they have not. They have not. He was on that Vikings team that lost to the Giants.
Did they win
like
a playoff game last year?
No, they lost. Remember Sam Darnold?
Yeah, that's right.
And then they had like the worst game of his life.
I thought they.
That was a wild card against the Rams.
Oh,
no, that was a wild card against the Rams because the next week was the Rams and the Eagles in Philly.
They got shit
game.
luck because they went 14-2, but they didn't get the 1 seed because the Eagles got the 1 seed, right?
No, it's because the Lions won the division.
Yeah, the Lions.
Yeah.
So they had to go to LA to play the Rams, or actually Arizona because the Palisades fires are happening then. Because Gavin Newsom's an idiot, but anyway, let's before I get on my tangent about that guy.
I thought we were gonna have a Jake moment there. I didn't think he was gonna be able.
We were this close, but I got to segue because finally, Sunday at the Bank is the last regular season home game for the Ravens, and under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football, it got flexed from the 1 p.m. start to the 8:20 p.m. start, and they're playing host to the Patriots, who for now are first place in the AFC East. See if they keep that. But I think we're all going black jerseys, purple pants, right?
I am.
I am
too. So that makes that unanimous. I'll assume Grant's going black jerseys, white pants because he's a terrorist that doesn't show up to his own podcast. We're just going to assume that.
Trippy texted me that he wants me to say that we're going to wear light purple pants this week. This is the week we break them out. So
we're breaking out the light purple lavender pants this week.
Dark purple jerseys, light purple pants.
That's
there you go.
Trippy's pick. But yeah, Jake, do you want to go first for the score?
Yeah, I'll go first for the score.
Score and bold prediction.
You know what? The Pats are a scrappy team and all that, but I'm going 27-17. Like you guys said, they're weak up the middle. They're kind of weak up the middle, especially with the injuries that they've had. So, bold prediction: Ardarius Washington gets an interception.
All right. Score: I'm gonna go 35-24. Bold prediction. So do I?
Drake May throws 3 picks.
Well, I think it's my turn to go back to Mike Green 2 sacks, right? Because we've gone.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to go Mike Green 2 sacks.
I almost got it. I thought I was going to get it last week because he got that sack going in.
Yeah, he got one. Yeah. He was halfway there.
And I love that fucking play for the record. That kid, that's playing through the fucking whistle. That's playing till the clock hits 0. You know.
Yep.
There's
Absolutely.
sack. I don't give a fuck. Hit Joe Burrow. Hit the opposing quarterback any opportunity you have, no matter what the situation is. Just fucking
Jake,
lay
did you
him
say
out.
27-17?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go. This is a weird score, but 29-22. And I'm going to go Derrick Henry 150 yards. 29 is going to be we're going to get 23. So we're going to get how will we get there? 17. So we're going to score
2 touchdowns.
Score a touchdown, miss the extra point with 3 field goals.
Or we're gonna at some point go for 2. But we're gonna blow it on one of the extra points. We're gonna score 2 touchdowns and right? Or is it 3 touchdowns and 2 extra?
No,
two field goals.
It'd be 3 touchdowns, 3 field goals, 1 missed extra point.
That's what I'm going for.
Okay.
There it is. What's your
22, 22, they're going to get to because they're going to be chasing that number.
Yeah, they're going to go for 2 and get it at the end when it doesn't
they're going to
matter.
kick 5 field goals and maybe score at the end. It's basically
going to be a 2-score win by us. They're going to score a late touchdown to get within 7 and then not get the onside kick, or they're going to kick off and think they can stop us on defense, and that's not going to work. But either way, 29-22 and Derrick Henry 150 yards.
There it is. We're just going to assume Grant's going to pick, 40-20 because he loves Drake May so much.
Drake May's going to throw 19 touchdown passes and whatever.
We're just going to go ahead and assume that, and he's taking black jerseys, white pants.
North Carolina football is so great. I'm Grant.
That's right. That's right, Grant. You don't have a soul. You're a ginger. I'm a part ginger, so I'm a fragment of a soul. So there's a difference between the two of us. There you go. But final thoughts before we end this.
Fuck the Patriots. Fucking let's just kill them. I don't need to deal with the Patriots winning this game. So Ravens care about my mental health. They'll fucking win in convincing fashion.
If anyone is going to be there, me and Drew will be there.
Maybe
together.
There it is.
Haven't said it.
Yeah. Before I end this, I'll just put it out. Shout out to Ardarius Washington popping his Achilles in, was it April or May? And then coming back to play.
Crazy story that Jeff Z drove into the game too. Again, so
that's right. With him out there, the defense was hitting. They were a lot more physical than they had been in the past few weeks. So shout out to Ardarius Washington. If you're going to keep one of those 2 safeties, keep them over Gilman if you can reach a number. So anyway, that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back to discuss this, that, and the other. Maybe Grant will fucking show up. Maybe not. Who the fuck knows? Maybe he'll have another water leak in his basement from 1999. But meanwhile, it's time for me to die.
I'm not doing this to you.
See ya.